All right, hello everyone. I'm Jacob, and I'm going to be explaining why we decided for our project to help fund transitional housing and why we view it as a viable solution to the homeless crisis. So transitional housing is temporary supportive housing that attempts to help transition people from homelessness back into mainstream society. It achieves this by giving people who are already homeless or those at severe risk of homelessness a place to stay, typically between 6 to 24 months for free or at a heavily subsidized cost. Beyond just giving people a place to stay and they have no place of their own, transitional housing is successful at fighting homelessness for two main reasons. The first reason why many advocates believe in transitional housing is that it offers great peer support and oversight from management. Often in transitional housing, you will have 1 to 2 roommates who are all in a similar mission to get back into mainstream life. And these roommates, along with the house manager, often will hold each other accountable and make sure that everyone does their chores, keeps their room clean, respects one another, and stays sober. These may sound like small tasks to us, but these are important first steps in rebuilding a responsible life. The second reason why transitional housing is a great tool to help those experiencing homelessness is that it offers support programs. Oftentimes, those experiencing homelessness have suffered very traumatic experiences that make housing simply not enough to help them. Many homeless people are ex-convicts, victims of domestic violence and violent crime, have intense drug or alcohol addiction, and they may need a place to live that has programs to support sobriety, that has social workers that visit frequently, and has staff that knows where to send them for medical care and treatment. This additional support goes a long way in preventing people from falling back into homelessness. Because of all the positives of transitional housing, we believe that, along with many experts, that transitional housing is a key part of a successful method to combat homelessness. This method begins with sending those experiencing homelessness into rehab programs. Following the completion of rehab, the next step is to put people into transitional homes that offer shelter, support programs, sobriety, accountability, and jobs programs. Lastly, after some time living in transitional housing, the hope is that you have been able to stay sober and secure a job. The search will then begin for you to find permanent housing. Unfortunately, this last step of finding low-income housing can take years if you're waiting for Section 8, but there are many other low-income housing options available, and hopefully with your newly found income, you can afford a place to live. Next slide. Despite being such a necessity, there's a severe lack of transitional housing in Los Angeles. In all of California, there are only around 16,000 transitional housing beds, despite there being at least 66,000 homeless in LA County alone. Proper transitional homes have been ignored by funding, as the new California policy, Project Roomkey, provides much of the upfront cost for homeless people to stay in temporary housing, but it prioritizes living in hotels. For those who have been housed under Project Roomkey, we have only seen around 10% of them be able to get into transitional homes, and so most participants are housed in hotels, which do not have the oversight, services, and support that homeless people need to get better. This is in large part due to the fact that there are simply not enough beds to help everyone or even a majority of homeless people. In Los Angeles, we received enough funding to temporarily house 15,000 people, yet you've been only able to house 4,200 people in the recent years, as there's not enough space or willing participants to house these people. That is why we hope Shelters on the Block can harness the power of the crypto community and raise significant funds to help our partner Uncle Dave's Transitional Homes to provide those in need with free rent for 5 months and to help Uncle Dave get its brand out to the public and expand. In conclusion, I hope you have all learned a bit more about transitional housing and the importance of our mission here at Shelters on the Block. Thank you for listening.